Silence is a weapon, a shield, a choice. But there are moments when silence is no longer wisdom. It is cowardice. The Stoics understood this deeply. They knew that words, when spoken with precision and restraint, could shape fate, restrain tyranny, and fortify the soul. There are times when you must speak, not for vanity, not for applause, but because the weight of your silence would bind you to regret. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. And sometimes to be one, you must speak." These are the 7 moments when silence becomes a betrayal. Moments when remaining mute is surrendering your own soul. Listen carefully, because one day you will be tested. 1. When injustice appears. There is a moment in every life when injustice stands before you, raw, exposed, and demanding submission. Most people look away. They tell themselves it is not their fight. They convince themselves that silence is neutrality. But there is no neutrality in the face of injustice. A Stoic does not bow to cruelty, nor does he lend it his silence. Seneca warned, "He who does not prevent a crime when he can, encourages it." History confirms this truth. Every great evil has thrived not only because of the wicked, but because of those who remained silent. When you witness cruelty, deceit, or oppression, your voice becomes a duty. Not for chaos, not for vengeance, but for truth. To remain silent is not peace, it is participation. 2. When principles are challenged. What is a person without principles? A vessel drifting at the mercy of the crowd. Epictetus taught that external events do not define us. Our response to them does. Yet most abandon their values the moment they are tested. You will be tempted to stay silent when discipline is mocked, when integrity is inconvenient, when virtue costs you comfort. This is precisely the moment to speak. Not with anger, not with arrogance, but with calm, unshakable clarity. A Stoic does not speak to defeat others. He speaks so he is not defeated by himself. 3. When lies dominate. Falsehood spreads quietly. It grows louder when left unchallenged. Lies do not fade with time. They multiply. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, taught that philosophy is not about comfort. It is about truth. And truth, when necessary, must be drawn like a blade. When deception fills the room, when the weak are misled, when power reshapes reality to its advantage, silence becomes surrender. A Stoic speaks not with rage, but with reason, not to humiliate, but to correct. A life lived quietly under falsehood is not peace, it is submission. 4. When someone you love falls. Stoicism is not coldness, it is not indifference. A Stoic does not abandon those he loves to darkness. Yes, we cannot control others, but we are not absolved of responsibility toward them. When someone you care for is consumed by self-destruction, despair, or vice, silence is not wisdom. It is surrender. Seneca reminded us, sometimes even to live is an act of courage, and sometimes helping another live requires the courage to speak. You may be resisted, you may be ignored, but duty is not measured by outcome. It is measured by whether you had the courage to act. 5. When truth burns inside you. Fear is the great silencer. Fear of rejection, fear of consequence, fear of standing alone. But Stoicism rests on one unshakable truth. Memento mori. You will die. And when that moment comes, will you regret what you said, or what you never dared to say? Truth left unspoken is truth wasted, and a wasted truth is a wasted life. When you know what is right, when it presses against your conscience, when it demands a voice, this is the moment that defines you. 6. When power is abused. Power unchecked does not restrain itself. It relies on silence. Tyranny grows not through force alone, but through obedience without question. A Stoic understands authority, but he does not worship it. When power humiliates the weak, when it exploits fear, when it demands silence in exchange for safety, Speaking becomes an obligation. Not loudly, not recklessly, but firmly. Silence in the presence of abuse is not prudence. It is permission. 7. When silence betrays you. There comes a moment when silence stops protecting you and begins to erode you. When every unspoken word becomes a weight on your character. When compliance turns into self-betrayal. This is the final test. A Stoic does not speak endlessly. He avoids noise, gossip, and empty debate. But when the moment calls, when silence would corrupt his integrity, he does not hesitate. He speaks once, clearly, without fear. The final challenge. The world does not need more noise. It needs more voices grounded in truth. Not voices that seek applause, not voices that chase power, but voices that speak because remaining silent would cost them their soul. Stand firm, speak wisely, live as the Stoics lived,